goes on well as planned. And we are live, and we're obviously going to be bringing you a snippet of what this game of football is going to be like. I want to let you know that the club of Arsenal comes into this as the favorites. And you know what Arsenal has always gone ahead to be, what Arsenal has always gone ahead to offer. You understand? They've gone ahead to offer a lot. And I tell you what, we are here to see to it that all really goes on well as planned. And smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, continue to do the needful, and we will be thankful. Now, Carabao Cup, you know what it means. It's all about it's all about the game of Arsenal and action tonight at the Emirates, and they're really working hard to see to it that they really win this game and obviously get to the next level. Why is this game really very important? It's very important because Arsenal want to really impose themselves as the ideal, strongest English side this season. And have they started on this journey so far this season? I'll tell you, yes. They've gone ahead to do that. And what have they gone ahead to do as a club of Arsenal? Arsenal has gone ahead to obviously concede only 3 goals in all the games they've gone ahead to play. They've played 3 games in the Champions League. They haven't conceded a goal. They've played 1 game in the Carabao Cup. They haven't conceded a goal. And they've gone ahead to play in this particular fixture, that in this particular league, the Premier League, and they've only conceded 3 goals, and they are on top of the Premier League table with 22 points. I think some good points behind Liverpool. Those are 7, and many others. So, Arteta, with the squad he has, he favorably has to compete in all the competitions. I tell you, he has to compete in all the competitions. I tell you, because if you look at his squad, it can compete very well and get him the results that he wants in as a manager. And in this particular fixture, thank God, it's at what we call the Emirates, right? And it being at the Emirates, that gives him what we call an advantage over a team known as Brighton, one of the stubbornest teams that we've gone ahead to see in the league. And Brighton comes into this particular fixture after losing to a club known as Manchester United over the weekend. And how did Brighton lose? Brighton lost in a very, 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 very annoying way. Why? First half, it ends 2-0. Second half, they come in through and they put in a very huge shift. After putting in a very huge shift, they score 2 goals. They pull 2 back, and it was 3-1. They only needed 1 goal to see to it that they obviously secure a point, but that was really not given chance by the club of Manchester United, because Brian Belmore went ahead to get an assist from the former Arsenal player known as Aiden Heaven, 0 touch from Fabrizio Romano, and it went ahead to go into the vicinity of Brian Belmore and made it for 2, meaning that they are coming at the Emirates when they know to it that there is something they are fighting in for. And what is that? They are fighting in to get to where they feel like they deserve to be as a club of Brighton. And in such tournaments, that's when, if you're a manager of Brighton, you expect obviously shock teams like Arsenal, because you will be looking at it as the only chance to see to it that you qualify for the next round and maybe play or give yourself a chance to play in the final. So, Arsenal also wants to win this game and get into the next round. Now, who is away and who is available? For Arsenal, Martin Odegaard is away. William Saliba is away. Rice is away. A player known as Benjamin White is doubtful. Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz is really away. But there are those that might pass a late fitness test and find themselves into the confirmed starting 11 for the manager of Arsenal. You understand? Then, when we go to the side of Brighton, Mitoma is having an ankle injury. Joel Veltman is having a calf injury. Braja Grada is having any injury. Hesler also confirmed that Jack Henslwood is having a foot injury. Solly March is having an injury. Adam Webster is having an injury. And James Milner suffered a muscle issue against Man United and is absent too. So, I tell you, the side of Brighton is really depleted. If you see the amount of players that are really out, you can all agree with me that their side has been depleted a lot. And the reason why you can come out and obviously give them what we call a chance to obviously surpass against Arsenal, unless otherwise Arsenal downs tools. But when you look at the mentality of these Arsenal players, I don't think that in their mentality there is anything like dropping tools. That is it. They want. I tell you, they want. Now, let's get to the probable starting 11 for the club of Arsenal as they token a team known as Brighton in here. The system is 4-3-3 from their manager, always, and we all want to eat that. In goal, there is a change that's obviously going to be made, and some huge changes obviously going to be made. In goal, it's going to be Kepa Arrizabalaga, not David Raya. These are tournaments that he was signing for. This and the FA Cup are going to be the tournaments where he will obviously feature predominantly. And I think he's always telling the players of Arsenal, please, I haven't been able to be involved in the Champions League and the Premier League in the starting 11 for the club of Arsenal. But all I want you to do for me is simple. You know, go ahead. Go ahead and do the needful and get me where I want to be. Continue winning these games. You understand? Let us knock out Brighton. And that's going to be the message from him. Kepa Arrizabalaga. He was last in action when they're knocking out. Is it... I've forgotten the name of the team that they knocked out. But all in all, Arsenal knocked out that team and they also kept a clean sheet. So he comes in through to obviously prove to the people that he's really doing great and right. From there, we get to the right back position. Julian Timber is the first choice right back for the club of Arsenal. No brain about that. But Benjamin White is supposed to be his understudy. But right now, things have gone ahead to change. And they're not really happening on as we expect. And this will lead to the manager thinking of who to play, because Benjamin White has to undergo what we call a late fitness test. And for that, I tell you, it's going to be Hincapi, because Timber was taken off and Hincapi came on and really played as a right back when Arsenal is playing against a team called Crystal Palace. You remember that very well. So we'll wait and see who will play as a right back in there. Left back, I think it's going to be Lewis Kelly. That means Ricardo Carafiori would have gone ahead, obviously be benched. And William Saliba is out in this particular fixture. And that means the right-sided centre-back is going to be Mothquela. You understand? Now, left-sided centre-back, I think it's either Ricardo Carafiori or Gabriel Magalhaes, but I think some seniority will be needed because Brighton will flaunt its strongest 11. You understand? Now, from there, we get to the midfield. I think Christian Norgaard will get a nod in there today. That is it. He'll get a nod into the starting 11 for the club of Arsenal. Alongside, Mikel Merino will come in through to play as a box-to-box midfielder. He came off the bench when they're playing against Crystal Palace. And The number 10 or the central attacking midfielder, it's obviously going to be Nwaneri into that midfield. Then the front three, with Noni Madueke out, you would anticipate that Max Dorman would obviously get into the starting 11 of Arsenal, but I think the manager needs Saka to obviously get in some goals, and he would obviously start Bukayo Saka as the right forward. Maybe get in some 45 minutes, and then he takes him off. All else, he can even play him off the bench, but I don't see Max Dorman start this game because it's really very important. And according to how Saka really looked in the game of Crystal Palace, and the manager took him off the pitch after, were they 60 minutes? I think he qualifies to come in through and obviously put in a very huge shift altogether. That is Bukayo Saka for you. Left forward, Martinelli. There are rumors that he's really having a knock, but I really anticipate that he will pass the late fitness test and be part of the team of Arsenal that is going to be taking on a team known as Brighton. Now, leading the line is where we should all come in through and really ask, who should lead our line? That is the most important question that we have to ask ourselves. Who should lead our line? You understand? Who should lead our line? Who should lead Arsenal's line? 1. Jesus is injured, though he's closing in. Kai Havertz is injured. Now, those are the two strikers that would think about when you're coming to this particular game of football. You understand? And you are left with only one option, Gyökeres, and he has been playing almost every game. Maybe this would be a chance for him to obviously get rested, but the manager will be like, he never had a preseason and he scored a brace in the Champions League. In the Premier League, he never scored. Maybe this is a chance for him to come in through and bag himself a goal to obviously boost his confidence and take his tally to 6, because he has so far scored 5 goals for the club of Arsenal. 3 in the Premier League and 2 into what we call the Champions League. That is Victor Gyökeres for you. So I really anticipate that the manager of Arsenal will obviously say, I want to do the needful. Can I really get you this guy in? Let me keep Gyökeres into the mix. And I really anticipate that Victor Gyökeres will lead the club, will lead the line for the club of Arsenal. And I don't think that he will play all those minutes, like maybe 90, unless otherwise the game is not going to the favor of Arsenal. But I know if Arsenal really scores its goals that we anticipate, it's obviously going to be scoring at the hour mark. The manager will think of obviously taking him off and maybe say, Mikel Merino, go lead the line, and let me drop in another player in the midfield, either Zubimendi or Anebelechi Eze. Now, when you look at that probable starting 11, if it happens to come out as I've gone ahead, obviously come and really spill it, the following changes would have gone ahead to be made. Kepa Arrizabalaga for Raya, Hincapi for Timber, Lewis Kelly for Ricardo Carafiori, Mosquera, Saliba, Norgaard for Zubimendi, Mikel Merino for Declan Rice, Nwaneri for Ebelechi Eze, and Gabriel Martinelli for a player called who? For a player called Leandro Trossard. So, all I want to let you know is simple. All I want to let you know is simple. The side is in here. And I want to let you know that all is okay and all is well. So 8 changes are obviously going to be made by the club of Arsenal, according to me, and that probable starting 11. Now, from there, we obviously get to what we call the probable starting 11 for the side of Brighton. Still, Wafer, Dunk, Bosgali, and Saipa. back four. Baleba, Ayari, Gomez, midfield three. Ruta, Mintek, and Welbeck will come in through to obviously attack the side of Arsenal, left, right, and center, to cause all sorts of havoc in here. So, I don't know what your predictions are for this particular fixture, but let me obviously let you know what my prediction is. 3-0 for the club of Arsenal. That's my prediction. Now, let's get to let's get into the comments section and see what you guys have to say. Birio Mohaisho says, thank you. Robert says, good evening, Rokani. Thanks for the updates. Thank you for watching in through. Tata Arsenal, good evening, Rokani. Thank you. Isma Christopher, Arsenal 4, Brighton 0. Cherotich Ivan comes in through and says, Arsenal 2, Brighton 0. Samuel says Arsenal 3, Brighton 0. Pam says Arsenal 6, Brighton 3. I don't see Arsenal conceding goals because it's one of those sides that hasn't gone ahead to concede goals in the longest period of time possible in there. Peter Bagonza says, good evening, Mr. Aradi. Hope you're doing really well. Yeah, I'm really trying. Nathaniel Monen, good evening. Good lineup, but Martinelli is injured. He can obviously pass what we call a late fitness test. That is it. You know, he really got a knock when they are playing against a team called Crystal Palace. That is it. But he's one of those that can pass a late fitness test in there for you, you know. And I tell you what, he's really one of those that you have to look at hugely in there for you. Saliba will be out. We are accessing him. Gabriel Martinelli will be out as well. All right. We have to do some more tests and see extent of the injury. Rice, Calafiori, and Saka are going to be fine. So the manager says that Martinelli is one of those that is out. So if Martinelli is out, then that will call in for Leandro Trossard or Ebelechi Ehezi to start in this particular fixture. That is it. So hope you guys have gone ahead, obviously have a wonderful time with me. I'm having Barak. These players can beat Brighton. Obviously, they can. Joseph Olinga. Good evening, Aradi. Thank you. Where do you get confidence of your predictions? Wandela Wilson. Because I really believe that Arsenal have gone ahead to build a very huge team that has all sorts of reasons to break down any particular team that they can come in through and obviously play against. You understand? So that is it for me. And my prediction is 3-0. I don't know what your prediction is, but I know it's really going to be a highly heated up game at the Emirates because this team that we talk about, and what's its name? We are talking about a team called Brighton. It's like a beaten snake. You understand? It being a beaten snake, we understand that it can really come in through and become a problem for the club of Arsenal. You understand? But Arsenal has gone ahead to obviously exercise its Arsenal has gone ahead to exercise its mandate and supremacy against a team known as Brighton in the recent past. And I want to let you know that it's not gonna be an it's not going to be an easy journey for the club of Arsenal. But the manager of Arsenal had the following to say about Max Dorman. He said, when you look at Max Dorman in training, you have to play him. If not, you are blind. All I'm blind. The feeling that I have is that genuinely he loves here. He's a huge Arsenal supporter and his family also. Hopefully for many years he will be with us. So Max Dorman is one of the contenders to obviously start into this particular fixture that you're really discussing. You understand? And he starts on merit, and I know he deserves to get in minutes. That is it. He deserves to get in minutes, and I tell you, he will get to where he deserves to be anytime from now. Guys, hope everything is really fine. And I think it's high time we call it quits in here and really see to it that you wait for the game. At exactly 9 p.m., an hour from now, I'm going to be returning with the Matchday Live, confirming to you what we call the confirmed starting 11 for the club of Arsenal. You understand? Now, what else haven't I talked about? My prediction is 3-0 for the club of Arsenal. Arsenal is going to add more salt to the injuries that Man United caused already to Brighton over the weekend.